It's like a ghar vapsi, na? Come back after so long. It's almost been 4 months and some days. Kya thi calculation? Anyway, something. It's been quite a while since I've been on the set. So it's just making me a little emotional. Otherwise, I don't get emotional. But here at Cricbuzz Live, I tend to get emotional very often. Especially when my check is delayed. That makes me very emotional. But now I've started taking payments in advance because at my age, you never know. Someday you oversleep and don't make the show. I'm Gaurav Kapur. As I said, this is Cricbuzz Live. This is my coffee cup, which I must tell you is only here for me to smell because after a certain age, you don't drink coffee after sundown. Zaheer Khan has not reached that age because he just killed one black coffee and he's about to kill another one. Hello, Zach, how are you?
It's just the start of the game, isn't it?
Yes.
You've got to be ready for it. You've got to be charged up, and hence the coffee.
I like the fact that he almost acts like if he's still playing. He's still, that's good. He's getting, I don't think anybody told him, he just has to sit and watch it. So yeah, we may see him steaming in right now and delivering one snorter. But there's a friend of ours who, well, actually, I should say that he claims to be a friend of ours. Because honestly, if he cared enough, he would have cared enough to be here with us. But he's not. That's why from a secret location, just in case you don't know who he is, he's got his name written on the wall behind. So you don't mistake it. Dinesh Karthik joining us from an undisclosed secret location. How are you, DK?
Good evening, Zach. Good evening, GK. Very, very good.
I'll tell you the, okay, we're all friends, sir. We're all friends. Viewers, everyone, we're all friends. I'll tell you the real reason why DK is not here. Okay, jokes apart. Chota hai humse, so sometimes we joke, but the real reason he's not here is because contractually now, Zaheer Khan and Dinesh Karthik cannot be in the same room because they may read each other's auction notes. As a conflict of interest, they can't be in the same room. Yes? Is that true?
Valid point.
Yeah?
Valid point.
I do want to tell you that before we went on air, Zach was asking DK a few questions like, Acha, so tell me, how are you guys prepping for the auction? And DK might have even given the answer because I stepped in and said, no, that can't happen. Should we?
Why are you making him bat on a seaming pitch? You can see he's getting uncomfortable there.
Yeah.
He's playing at it, then missing.
I'll tell you what will happen. He's going to take a flight and come here for Sunday's game. He's like, bhai, dur se nahi hota, paas jana padega jaldi se. India, South Africa, the 4-match T20I series. And of course, you must be thinking, what's going on, man? There's one team going east, one team going west. It's all happening at the same time. That's right. For the Border Gavaskar Trophy, the team leaves in, well, I think a day. I think they leave tomorrow for that test series. But that's the riches of Indian cricket right now, that you can play. This is not a B team, Zach, by any stretch of imagination.
And that's why I've been saying for a long time now that you should run Test cricket parallelly. And, here's an example of that. India certainly can do it because they have a very strong bench strength, especially when it comes to this format. You can definitely field one or two teams if you like. This team definitely looking strong enough after the T20 World Cup. Also, the seniors making way for the youngsters. So it's clearly the new direction. Suryakumar has been fantastic with his captaincy skills, leading this team from the front. A few new faces there. Yash Dayal getting a look in. Ramandeep as well. We'll have to wait and see whether he gets an opportunity or not. But on the whole, this team certainly has got the goods to beat South Africa, who will be waiting very eagerly to settle scores, and that hurt of World Cup will be visible in this series for sure.
Yeah, I think that's one of those. It's gone now, right? They can win this series 4-0, but I don't think that'll be effective balm. No, I'm not saying they're going to win this series 4-0. I'm just saying they could, but I don't think that could be balm of that spectacular day in Barbados. But DK, just looking at that squad, geez, man, I mean, Indian cricket at this point in time, embarrassment of riches, right? Because when you look at that squad, you look at those names with T20 cricket, there is no name there that you don't know. There is no name there that you can say is, how an India A squad or a B team kind of name.
Hey, look at that squad, and almost everybody, barring one or two, have played enough games in T20 for sure. very household names in T20 cricket, barring maybe a Ramandeep, Yash, and a Vaishak. Everyone has played plenty of T20 games in IPL. That is quite the confidence from which they draw when they go on to play a big series like this. I'm very excited for them, GK. I'm not even lying to you. This T20 series that they played against Bangladesh was probably one of the most excited I've been to watch a new Indian team play. And the fact that they've gone to South Africa, if they can continue in the same vein, nothing like it.
Yeah, because, I mean, you know that we sometimes even joke about the fact that we talk about World Cup to World Cup, right? But when you're looking at this team, and I know it's 2 years away, but 2 years is not a long time. In 2026, you could actually see, this is quite a blueprint of what you would see, forget the World Cup, maybe what you see with India T20 internationals over the next few years.
Well, in this format, you've seen it's evolving in such a way where two disciplines at times is not enough. You know, you fielding for sure, everyone has to contribute. And you look at that squad as well, there is a conscious effort from the selectors and the team management to bring in those kind of individuals who can contribute and with the ball and bat. You know, so that is something which the emphasis has been given, and hence you see Ramandeep also being there.
Yeah.
You've seen Hardik, who's going to be all-rounder. Nitish Reddy is not part of this squad, but he's someone who is again been fast-tracked just purely because he can contribute with bat and ball.
Yeah.
You know, so that's definitely going to be the way forward for this format, and from the Indian team, those indicators are already visible looking at the next World Cup.
And of course, let's look at the captain, the newly anointed full-time captain. All right, because Surya's done some captaining in T20 internationals, of course, so he's not new to that. But now, of course, he's been called the formal captain for this, and there you see, sometimes they say that captaincy can put a little additional pressure on you, and Surya DK looks at that and says, "Say that again." What? What? He's a T20. He's a proper T20 beast.
That's the right word you use, beast. He is that. As a batter, when he walks into the crease, he's hard to bowl at. There's not too many areas in the ground that he doesn't hit at. But what has been brilliant about him is, in fact, his statement as well, he says that his batting is probably more aggressive than his captaincy, and that's understandable. And every captain has a certain way that you want to play, and it is good to see Suryakumar understanding that not everybody can be as aggressive. When he says aggressive, I think it's more to do with his body language and all of that, not so much his batting. But his batting has not taken a dip. Sometimes when you take leadership, you think, okay, I need to be a little more responsible, and hence you probably take slightly lesser risk to be there at the end, etc. But what you genuinely saw in the 13 matches that he's led, the fact that he has a phenomenal record, 11 he has won, and that itself is quite astounding. But with his batting, he's played exactly like how he played so far when Rohit was a captain or Hardik was captain. He has just gone about batting like how Suryakumar bats without making any changes.
DK, I want to ask you a quick question, because obviously you've played with him, but I want to ask you a question with the perspective of playing against him, because you've got quite a vantage point view. You stand behind, you're looking at Surya. When you look at that, what do you see special about him in terms of whether it's hand-eye, getting into positions, reading line and length, footwork? What your view on that?
Two things. I think growing up, he's played in society where certain shots have been very, very productive, like the one where he gets in to hit over fine leg. That has been a very productive shot for him. It's not easy because of the way he is able to get under the ball, and that doesn't come very naturally. The sweep shot, again, the beauty of the sweep shot is he's able to play between short fine leg and deep square leg, and also between deep square leg and deep mid wicket. Not everybody can do it with as much consistency as what Surya is doing now. So these two things set him apart. But his biggest strength is his balance. At the crease, having a very wide base, he decides where he wants to hit. And if the ball is anywhere close to the place where he wants to go after in terms of line or length, he backs himself to do it. He doesn't second guess himself. His ability to use his hands to get the ball into areas where he chooses to, I don't think there's been many. Probably AB de Villiers right up there. He had power as well. Surya, on the other hand, is someone who uses timing and beats fielders consistently. So if you are an opponent captain, if Surya is batting, at times he can make you look very silly because of the shots he plays.
Yeah, I love that perspective. Zach, quick, you in your years in MI, you've obviously seen him and you've seen him off field. What's the thing that strikes you about him?
Well, I think when you're talking about his captaincy, for any captain, when I'm looking at just judging a captain, it's very important that the captain should be proactive, and he should be his thoughts should be flowing with the game as the game is unfolding, and that is something which goes very naturally with Surya. Obviously, he's been rubbing shoulders with Rohit, and that really helps because he's someone who goes with how the game is unfolding, and that if you are able to do it as a captain, then you are able to use your resources very well and effectively. So Surya is someone who is getting better at it. You look at his record as well, he's been handling those situations very well. You look at Sri Lanka game when the pitches were assisting spinners, and he brought in spinners at 16, 17, 18, 9. Last over also was bowled by spinner. That shows that he's not afraid of making those calls. The game is not, or the bowling stack up is not predetermined in his head. He's looking at the conditions, he's looking at the situation of the game, and then being brave enough to take those chances where the percentage is falling in your favor. And if you are able to do that, if you are able to back yourself, more often than not, you will fall on the right side of the result. So that is a biggest positive when I'm looking at Surya's captaincy.
Lots of positives. Like we say, the sky is the limit, but this sky has no limit. And that's what it's looking like right now. Well, it's not gone well for him at the toss because South Africa has won the toss and decided to bowl first. So we'll have a look at the 11 that is being fielded by both teams. Let's have a look at... Come on, bring it. Surprise me. Bring it. India playing 11. All right. Still sticking with Sanju Samson at the top. That was the previous series as well. Obviously, why would you not? After that knock that he played, lit up the innings, lit up the stadium, lit up the country in imagination of his fans. Abhishek Sharma on the other side with him. He's a big hitter as well. The captain at 3, then Tilak Verma. The birthday boy, I think, from yesterday. Hardik Pandya, Rinku Singh. So there's a fair bit of MI, your former team, both of you, your former teams up there. Then Akshar Patel, Ravi Bishnoi and Varun Chakravarti. So that's interesting that India's gone with 3 spinners. And then, of course, the pace options of Arshdeep and Avesh. And, of course, Hardik will bowl as well. And when you look at that, Abhishek ends up bowling as well. So are you a bit surprised, DK, with this, that they're obviously reading the Durban pitch as getting a lot of turn?
Yeah, Durban is a place which definitely aids spin, and also it's not that easy if you're a good square of the wicket. It's slightly, shorter on the square boundaries. But a couple of things, India have gone in with right-left throughout their innings, which will work well in their favor because Durban is a ground where you can use the dimensions to your effect, especially if they're playing on a pitch which is suited to one side or hitting one side. Then you have that left-right combination that works really well. But as you said, playing 3 spinners in South Africa, it's quite the challenge. And the one thing that they would have assessed is in the last couple of days, they have practiced in the evening. So they would have had a look at whether dew was prevalent at this time of the year. But understand, they're just coming back post their winter. Rather, they're getting into winter slowly but steadily. And hence, it will get probably a little bit of dew, but not so much. But for me, the interesting part is, sometimes you have to look at Varun Chakravarti and think he's not the quintessential spinner. He's not somebody who spins the ball. It's more the mystery, the fact that which way he turns and the bounce that he gets is what makes him effective. So I understand the combination that they've gone with. I think they're looking at Varun as someone who's the spearhead amongst the 3 spinners. But it's a team that will like a tall score because in Durban, the one thing is teams have tended to score a lot more than the past score.
There is, I was quite looking forward to seeing an all left-arm opening bowling attack. Haven't seen that since Zaheer Khan and Ashish Nehra. We thought if Yash Dayal gets a game, then you can get Arshdeep and Yash Dayal there. But they've gone only with Arshdeep and Avesh Khan. And, of course, relying on Hardik on perhaps bowling his 4, at least having the option of him bowling his 4.
Yeah, my first reaction is spinner will be bowling in the power play. That's something which they'll have to find a way. When you have 3 spinners, 12 overs potential of spin with Abhishek as well to back that. So potentially 16. You'll have to look at the conditions. This is definitely suggestive of the fact that maybe pitch might be assisting spinners a little bit. Otherwise, you are one seamer short. and you don't want to be in that situation as you go in the game, that you've not read the conditions well, and you're falling because of that. You're falling short because of that. So that's some concern. They're obviously there close to the ground, so obviously they must have taken into consideration all those kind of aspects. But other than that, I think it's a balanced attack. You always have someone like Avesh, I think, who's in the playing 11 right now, predominantly supporting Arshdeep with the back end job. Just to make sure that they finish the overs well. Arshdeep is someone who will be used with the new ball and the old ball. Hardik, of course, we'll have to wait and see how Surya is thinking. So whether it's 1 over or 2 overs in the power play. Power play is a very important phase in this format. So a lot will be dependent on that, and how you're using your resources during that phase is going to be very crucial. And that's why the conditions matter.
Yeah, DK?
DK, if you do look at that 11 and the construction of the squad, the one thing is batting ends at number 7. From 8, you literally have pure bowlers. So India would be forced to play Akshar Patel in this series if they want to have options in bowling and depth in batting. Because the only other option is if you play Ramandeep Singh, then your bowling gets, in a way you don't have too many options. The fact that Varun can be looked at as a fast bowler is because he is exactly what Zach just said. You will see him bowling in the power play, the top and tail of the innings, as they call it. And the fact that all-rounders, you have someone who can bowl like Hardik Pandya, that's great, but you need an Akshar Patel because it balances out the 11. You're suddenly so used to having that impact player rule, and then the use of the batting later down isn't so much because you can always add an extra batter. But with just 11 playing, as the rule is in international cricket, to have an all-rounder becomes so important.
And the thing with Akshar is you've seen him, especially in the IPL and with India as well, batting up and down the order. He's good to bat higher up the order as well. So you could see a lot of those combinations happening. Let's have a look at the South Africa team. The 11 that they have. No debutants for India, but there is, I think, one debutant for South Africa in Andile Similane. That's the debutant. But let's have a look from the top. There's Ryan Rickleton, who is pretty much slotted into the Quinton de Kock position, right up there, the wicketkeeper and the opener, with captain Aiden Markram. Tristan Stubbs, Heinrich Klaasen, Richie Richman, Heinrich Klaasen, then David Miller, Patrick Kruger, Marco Jansen, then the debutant Andile Similane, Gerald Coetzee, Keshav Maharaj, and Nakaba Peter. So that's their side. He's their left-arm spinner. So let's see, they've got Keshav Maharaj, Nakaba. So they are playing, they're playing one less then, aren't they? DK?
Yeah. They are definitely, obviously, again, very similar to India. Their batting ends at 7 as well, with Marco Jansen batting at 7. That's one of the problems, actually, they faced in the World Cup final. They always had a very light batting order in the bottom end of it. You almost knew if you get 5 wickets, then the last 4-5 overs, you could dominate South Africa. And that's what India ended up doing in that final. Similane, the debutant, is a fast bowler, doesn't have too much experience, even in first-class level. He's very young to playing cricket, and the fact that he's playing international cricket so early tells you that they trust him a lot and they feel that he's got potential. Peter, again, a very interesting name, a leg spinner who played against Ireland, did decently, and in West Indies as well. So overall, it's a squad that they are trying. They are in a bit of transition in terms of understanding what their new attack could be without the likes of Rabada, Nokia and all that. So it's going to be a very interesting series because there are two sides, young in nature, probably the names we know because of IPL they've played around, but very young in terms of the number of matches a lot of the players have played.
Yeah, there's a lot on David Miller, actually. There's a lot on Heinrich Klaasen. Obviously, two very big names when it comes to T20 cricket. But the point that DK is making, I mean, this has happened to them against West Indies. It happened to them, I think, against Ireland as well, where suddenly there was a few wickets gone and it was, a newer team. So they got a little stuck that way. And that's why they are so dependent on their number 4 and 5 in Klaasen and David Miller, both with, truckloads of experience. And if that top order fails, and that's where they come into play.
Well, lately their strength has been that middle order, isn't it? And a lot of responsibility will be on Miller since he's the most experienced batter in that lineup. For sure. Markram also, he's been good with his captaincy, but with his batting contribution is something which he'll have to really work upon. And as a captain, if you have runs behind your back, it just helps your captaincy as well. He's been doing a good job with this team, there is no doubt about it. But individually, when you're contributing, when you're performing, it just uplifts yourself as well to make those brave calls. You know, at times then you're just kind of taking those percentage calls and you're a bit defensive in your approach. So that's something which has to come from Markram.
Yeah, Marco Jansen had taken a conditioning break and he's back. Of course, they're going to be bowling first, so he's going to have the new ball in his hand. Coetzee is very quick as well. No Berger in this squad, so that's it. He's not even in the squad, not just in the 11, he's not in the squad. But we'll just stick with the captain for just a second. On Markram, because he has obviously had a very good SA20, lifted the trophy. Well, we have the brand ambassador of SA T20 here joining us. From I think Durban. I think he's in Durban. He just has to live there now since he's the new brand ambassador. But he's had a good time there at least. I mean, he was kind of demoted in the Hyderabad setup because the captaincy was given to Pat Cummins. Yeah, he's had a good time there at least in South Africa.
I think his journey as a leader started very early for South Africa. He was the under-19 South African captain. They earmarked him as one who's going to lead South Africa in the near future. And as soon as the opportunity came, he was given it. Even he's the captain of his provincial side. And then when Sunrisers Eastern Cape team was announced and he was a part of it, it was just but too obvious that he was going to be the leader. 2 years GK, and both years they won convincingly. But what's more interesting is they have not had the strongest squad on paper. They've kind of fought their way through against good teams with better names, but have delivered very, very well. So Markram is definitely a very inspirational leader. Just if someone had observed the World Cup, the T20 World Cup that happened, the one thing that was very evident was when that team was struggling, they did have their moments, but they always found ways to win from positions where people thought that gone. South Africa was gone, but they came back to win. Yes, what Zach said is perfect. If he gets runs, it'll be even better for him. But the fact is that they have found a good leader in Markram, a good leader of men. And I think they do feel for him when he doesn't get runs because the respect is there and it will definitely be earned if he gets runs. What he has done for South Africa in those crunch games, must-win games, is definitely something that's very laudable as a captain.
Yeah, that's such a good point that DK makes because we kept talking about this during the World Cup, that with South Africa, but it looked like they were in the doldrums. There was one person putting up their hand and saying, you know, we're going to get the team across the line. And we see that a lot of times with teams in the IPL as well. And I think South Africa that was the blueprint that they used then. We were talking about Klaasen and Miller. Miller, of course, has a great record, as we told, in terms of experience. But Klaasen, geez, is there a T20 batter who is rated higher than him right now? I mean, they have had their captain take a pay cut at Sunrisers, right? So that he can he's taken a pay cut so that Klaasen can effectively get Pat Cummins' salary almost. But that's how highly he is rated. Talk to me about Klaasen from a bowler's perspective.
Well, when you're looking at the finishers and when you're looking at the middle order batters, you need that power as well, which Klaasen has. You've seen the areas which he hits, and particularly spinners. I think one thing with IPL we've seen a lot of the overseas names, particularly when they come in, if you're not able to dominate spin bowling, you will be in trouble at some stage or the other. And you've seen with a lot of big names, you know, who've come with a reputation, started playing IPL, and then the spin attack virtually took them out, and they've pretty much lost the spot from the playing 11 at times. So that's the challenge of playing in these Indian conditions. And Klaasen has lived up to that challenge very well. You know, he has that ability, he has that power, and those areas, and the six-hitting ability goes a long way. So that is something
99 this year.
Which works in his
99.
favor. I mean,
your boy is ahead of him. Your Lucknow boy.
Of course, and you know, so all these names, pretty much barring one name of Cricbuzz, they all have been retained by their sides in franchise cricket. You know, so performance end of the day is going to matter, and this batter has been consistently performing and contributing towards team success.
Yeah, we keep talking about why he's so good, and everybody talks about the fact that he almost seems to have a lower center of gravity, which doesn't happen a lot with such tall people, but he can just kind of get under the ball. could do that in Durban today. India's playing 3 spinners. So Klaasen must be going, buffet time. Me hungry. Me want cookie. All right, talking from the cookie monster, we have another player in the Indian setup who also likes destruction in the power play. I'm talking about young Abhishek Sharma. And this is quite interesting, right? Because this is the Durban ground where his mentor, Yuvraj Singh, wreaked mayhem back in 2007. You were there, DK, in 2007 when he hit the 6 6s on the same ground. So Abhishek might be, I know, we know how kids are these days, right? Kids are precocious. It's gonna cross his mind when he walks out in Durban. Call UV pass, UV pass, मैं Durban में हूँ. मैं 7 छक्के मारूंगा 7 बॉल में.
Yeah, he's a terrific talent, GK. What I love about him is the one word every coach, everybody speaks about: intent. He's an intent monster.
Yeah.
He is so hard to bowl at because from ball one, he keeps it simple. He goes at it. We speak so much about Travis Head, but Abhishek Sharma was as good with intent. Maybe in terms of runs, obviously Travis Head got a lot more, and that comes with experience, but he has got skill and he is ready to go from ball one. And that's what Gautam Gambhir and Suryakumar spoke about when they took this T20 team. The one thing that we want is to bat at a very high rate throughout. If we lose wickets, then we will see what to do. But Abhishek Sharma kind of player is what they signed up for. Somebody who is willing to be, I don't want to use the word selfless. I feel it's silly. I think, players like Abhishek Sharma, if you suddenly tell him go and play defense, that will be harder for him. For him to hit shots comes a lot more naturally and it helps his game as well. So I'm not going to use the word selfless, but he follows what the team mantra is, which is to try and put pressure on the bowler from ball one. And in that, it's going to be a challenge in places like Durban where there's bounce and there will definitely be some swing at the start.
Yeah, it's a great point actually. If what DK says that if you told Abhishek to defend, he might be a little fish out of water feeling for him. It might be like if you tell Zach that no coffee, no double espresso for you today. Like, what? Why? What did I do? But we've of course been hearing about Abhishek for many years because UV of course has worked with him and he's been telling us about him for many years. Has put a lot of hard work in there. What has struck out about Abhishek to you?
Well, his striking ability, that is something which is very, very rare for an opening bat.
And he's not that big a guy.
I mean,
so it's almost
with the new ball, you always have that risk, isn't it? New ball is not an easy phase to deal with, and you have to encash on the power play. So he's prepared for that. His balance is better. I think the time which he spent with UV as well has definitely helped him. UV has been talking about him for last 4-5 years, isn't it? When he burst onto the franchise cricket scene as well, started with Delhi, then went to SRH. But the real breakout year has been the last year for him. And what strikes out is that he's thinking about hitting those sixes, So and that really stands out. That positive outlook, taking the bowlers on right from the word go. So that is something. That's how he sets his game up. Now with that, there is definitely going to be that much risk involved when you take that kind of approach. And at the international level, he still has to find that balance, and that's what the numbers are showing right now.
Yeah.
Maybe some more time with UV because now UV is telling him don't hit that many shots.
That's true. He is.
So it's gone the other way around. So I think for Abhishek, I think it's important that he finds that formula which is going to bring him success at this level.
Yeah.
If that means that you have to alter your game a little, or maybe thinking slightly fine-tuning in your thinking, your approach.
Will it just come with age?
Because
I guess,
he's got the ability.
Yeah.
He's got the ability, but sometimes the occasion gets to you. So that is something which he'll have to figure out. It's more of a mental adjustment than skill.
Such a good point that Zach, DK made this point earlier as well, that Travis had probably encashed more when you saw that partnership for Sunrisers. But that just comes with experience and age. And when Abhishek shows that raw ability, that he will also then, as matures and, becomes a little more aware, will learn how to encash that. Yes, DK?
I have one question. I know you're the host, GK, but I want to ask Zach one question. It's a very interesting place. 9 out of the 11 in this current 11 for Indian team have been retained. Only two fast bowlers have not been retained, Arshdeep and Abhishek Khan. Now, my question to you, Zach, do you think the boys were not retained? The fact that the auction is round the corner, because I see a lot of players doing things that they don't do in the auction year. Some of them are playing domestic cricket, all matches so far. These things don't happen ordinarily. These guys refrain from playing 4-day cricket. Suddenly, everybody's available, everybody's playing. So, do you think the fact that the auction is round the corner, the guys who are probably not there will be a little bit of added pressure apart from international cricket, or do you think they'll just go out there and do what they can?
Wait, can I just answer your question with a question, DK? You've been in this situation a few times in the last few years. You tell us.
No, the fact is that, a lot of the times in auction year, it has played a part in my mind. I'm not going to lie. It is a fact. But for me, playing domestic cricket, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed being part of Tamil Nadu team. And I did it a lot. So that didn't come as a issue for me. Yeah. But if I had played international cricket around the same time before the auction, it did play a part. When I used to get out, I used to be, oh my God, shit, maybe a couple of crores less now. I'm not going to lie to you.
That's two less bids.
I don't think they should be thinking like this. That is something which is my opinion. It's just about going out there, expressing yourself, and end of the day, it's just about coming up with good performances, isn't it? So if you are able to do that consistently, rest of the things are going to take care of itself. So I think that's the way one should be looking at this level. The performances, if you are making them count, if you are able to contribute towards team success, there are 10 teams, DK.
Yeah, that's plenty. I'll tell you. We've got two answers to DK's question. One was theory, one was practical. Zaheer has given the theory answer. In theory, you have to do that. But DK has given you the practical answer. Because you're human. It has to play on your mind, I guess, right? Just like it plays on our mind when we don't know the joy factor question, which is 19 times out of 20. And the 20th time I get it correct because a broken watch is right 2 times a day. Right? Let's have a look at the question today and see if my dumb luck can make me answer that. This cricketer has played just 4 T20Is and his last wicket in competitive cricket is of Sunil Narayan in the T20 in Canada. Why is this cricket in the news?
Radio silence.
As always, after joy factor questions. ये प्रोफेसर साहब ना गुड़गांव में बैठ के कहर मचा देते हैं सब जगह.
There has to be some connection to this venue or the squad or something like that.
Connection to venue, I can only think of Yuvraj Singh. So it's not him. Have I got it right with dump? No, he didn't play 4 T20Is. Played many more than that. He was 4 T20Is, right? So don't...
And also that person is in the news.
Is in the news. Yuvraj Singh is always in the news. Our brother's a rock star. All right. If you know the answer and you do better than us, please tweet it to us or exit to us. I don't know what you call it now. So just send it on Elon Musk's website. Hashtag Cricbuzz Live, hashtag Joy Factor. Send in the answer. We will do our little score guess and then scoot out of here. What's it going to be? India batting first in Durban. Zach, we'll start with you.
165.
165. Interesting. DKU?
181.
181. I think I'm going to sandwich myself right in the middle of you guys. 165, 181. So I'm going to say that 173. 173. These are our score guesses. We'll see you at the end of the 10th over. We'll do a little update of how things are going with the India batting effort. That's going to be on Cricbuzz Combox. So do join us then. Right now, I'd like to thank Dinesh Karthik. DK, thank you so much. You can go back to a little bit of one eye on auction planning, one eye on the game right now. And I'm going to get Zaheer Khan a double espresso because you got to do it every 45 minutes. It's like a little baby. Got to feed him. I'm Gaurav Kapur. Thank you for watching Cricbuzz Live. Goodbye.